They all thought it was just another investment seminar. They were wrong. It started in a growing city in Texas, in a small office building tucked behind a busy shopping street. The flyer had circulated online for weeks. Exclusive residential investment program, limited seats available. It promised access to properties that most investors would never hear about, and strategies to make housing investments with minimal money down. The seminar was free, but seats were limited, and the organizer emphasized that arriving early would guarantee a better consultation. People came from nearby cities and towns, families, retirees, young professionals, and small-time investors. Among them was Rebecca, a single mother who had been renting for years, saving for a down payment on a modest house. Marcus, a high school teacher nearing retirement, had been frustrated by rising rent and limited opportunities to invest safely. Sophia, a young marketing professional, had never owned property, but dreamed of making a smart investment that could secure her future. Each had different reasons for attending, but all were drawn by the promise of stability and guidance. The seminar began on time. Gideon Cross, a calm and polished man, addressed the audience with perfect composure. He didn't shout or pressure anyone. His voice was measured and professional, and he spoke with a confidence that immediately made people trust him. He explained trends in the housing market, rising home costs, and what he called hidden opportunities that only a select few investors knew about. He showed slides of properties in Texas, Arizona, Nevada, and Florida, describing how divorces, relocations, foreclosures, and distressed sellers created chances for buyers willing to act early. After the presentation, Gideon offered private consultations. He explained a new system, a secure investment account. By depositing a portion of money, attendees would guarantee their access to upcoming property listings. He reassured them that funds were fully refundable if a deal did not go through. For most people, this was unusual, but the documents he provided looked professional, almost official. The language was careful, precise, and believable. Rebecca, hesitant at first, decided to send a small portion of her savings. Marcus contributed part of his retirement fund, while Sophia invested what she could comfortably afford. Gideon sent monthly updates with account statements, property opportunity reports, and letters appearing to come from banks and title companies. He even included photos of properties he claimed were available, detailed neighborhood information, and income projections for potential renters. In the first few weeks, everything seemed legitimate. Gideon sent personalized emails congratulating families on their growing equity. He encouraged them to attend webinars on home inspections, tax strategies, and market timing. The participants felt reassured, believing they were part of a safe and professional investment program. But subtle changes began to appear. Emails became slower, replies became vague, webinars were canceled without explanation, and scheduled phone calls went to voicemail. Some families started to worry. Rebecca tried contacting the bank listed on her documents, only to find that there was no record of her funds. Marcus attempted to verify the title company Gideon had mentioned. It didn't exist. Sophia's online portal, which had been her primary source of updates, vanished completely. Over the next few weeks, tension grew. Families called each other to compare notes. They discovered that the properties they had been told about were either recycled from public listings or entirely fabricated. The reality of the scam became clear. The funds had never been held in secure accounts, and Gideon Cross had disappeared without a trace. The aftermath was devastating. Some families had invested almost everything they had. Rebecca's dream of owning a home was postponed indefinitely. Marcus lost part of his retirement fund and faced uncertainty about his future. Sophia had invested her savings for her first property, only to see it vanish. The emotional toll was immense. Trust was shattered, anxiety grew, and frustration boiled over. Authorities eventually became aware of the scam, but Gideon had planned carefully. The documents appeared legitimate. Shell accounts had been used to move money, and any attempt to trace the funds was met with dead ends. The scam had not relied on aggression or threats. It relied entirely on calm professionalism. Families were deceived because Gideon looked and sounded credible. His office, his website, and his communications all created a sense of legitimacy that lulled people into compliance. Over the next year, families struggled to recover. Some took legal action, but the complexity of the scam made it difficult to recover lost funds. Others slowly rebuilt their savings, now more cautious than ever. Rebecca returned to renting, Marcus restructured his retirement plan, and Sophia started saving independently, relying only on verifiable traditional investment opportunities. Meanwhile, new victims appeared. Gideon's scheme had been operating in multiple states. In Arizona, a retired couple lost nearly half of their retirement savings. In Nevada, small investors lost money intended for rental property deposits. In Florida, young professionals pooled funds for long-term equity, only to see it disappear. The pattern was always the same: calm presentations, professional-looking documents, promises of legitimate profits, and then total disappearance. Years later, the office building that had hosted the seminar had new tenants. The websites promoting exclusive investment opportunities came and went. Nothing outwardly appeared wrong. To outsiders, life went on, but for those who had attended the seminar, the memory lingered. They had learned a painful truth: the most dangerous scams are often quiet, patient, and professional. Calm voices, realistic documents, and plausible scenarios can deceive far more effectively than shouting or threats. The experience left a lasting mark on all of them. Rebecca continued renting, now with caution and skepticism. Marcus learned that no investment is truly risk-free and that trust must be verified before any funds are handed over. Sophia became a strong advocate for research and transparency, warning friends and family about the ways scams could appear completely legitimate. Even years later, whenever the topic of real estate investments came up, the families remembered that seminar. They remembered Gideon Cross, a man who never yelled, never rushed, and never seemed suspicious, and the lesson he taught them the hard way: appearances can deceive, trust must be earned, and even professional calmness can mask deception. The story remained a warning. In real estate and in life, the quietest schemes can sometimes cause the loudest damage.